What's up, friends, and welcome back to a new episode of Noobs in Disguise. My name is Harstem, and as always, I will be joined by a Lambo. What's up, buddy?
What's up? Looking forward to the episode.
Yeah, me too. Today we have a Zerg player who submitted this bad boy called Jackhammered. It's not a very pleasant experience. And the Terran player here is going to be Jeopardizing, who opens up with a command center first. Now, that's a build. Do you usually build the command center at 17 supply if you play CC first?
I have no clue. I never play CC first when I play Terran. But I think it's correct, yeah. Seems to be right.
Okay, yeah, I never know if it's 16 or 17. That could be a clue as to, how good we are. Barracks is about 40 minerals late as well. So it is something else. That SCV was not there on time. Now we have some money floating. It's going to be double barracks. Or he's scouting, and it's not double barracks at all. Okay. Not the tightest build order then, because it was lining up nicely for a second barracks right next to it, but now the gas is just late for no real reason. On the side of Zerg, we have a slow rally here into the extractor, and it was a hatch first. Oof. Just a pretty standard game, no?
Yeah, looks correct so far. Usually if you play CC first, unless you want to go multiple barracks afterwards, you do in fact go double gas. So, and he is actually prioritizing mineral income on purpose. He's now rallying the next SCV into the gas. So I'm expecting a very greedy opening here from the Terran with a fast third CC.
Well, you're correct about both of these things. Yeah, it's a greedy opener and it's a fast third CC as well. Man, your calls are spot on again as always. You can read this guy's mind. Well, both players actually having a similarly timed CC, or a similarly timed third base, except for the Terran, it's not in quite a normal position. It is probably the best base to proxy at, though. The least likely to be scouted. Maybe
yeah,
the opposite side would be better. So you just build it on your own side over there. Like the very top right, the 2 o'clock, I think it is, or the 1 o'clock. I think that base would be even harder to find. And it's in a better location as well, but this definitely does scream that you have bigger balls than your opponent, so I kind of like it.
Well, I actually think this is the best space you probably could have taken, because if you send a Ling around, just around the Reaper and the Hellion, you usually take the top path, you automatically scout that base. And if you're hiding until the Hellions leave, you usually go towards the even more top side. So those two will get scouted naturally quite often from Zergs that just scout with their Zerglings. Now, I'm not sure why he's going super fast Tuck Lab on the factory. Do you think he's going to make Cyclones here or what?
Tanks.
Defensive tank?
Tanks. Maybe he pretends that he's a moron. He's going to sit on 2 bases making tanks. And then as a Zerg player, you believe there's some type of weird tank calling going on. You just see 2 bases, you start cutting drones, and then boom, you transition into triple starport battlecruiser. That's the type of game this is going to be. I can feel it. Look at that third gas timing as well. He's banking for the BC transition.
Yeah, he is. For sure. Man, when I upload my Roach builds, my opponents always tell me they have a tank ready. Or my viewers, rather, always tell me their opponents have a tank ready already. I'm like, what? How is that possible? Meanwhile, this guy goes tech lab on the factory right away with a tank. Yeah, okay. This is exactly when my Roach build would hit. I get it now. This is the first time I've seen this.
Yeah, this is the thing. You have all these nice little meta builds, hoping that the Terran plays some type of 2-on-1 or just a standard Hellion opener, but man, the lower leagues, my friend, they just open up with 2 tanks and your Roach build can't hurt them. They already have 4 CCs and they hold your 2-base Roach shell in. What's up now, Lambo? Your build sucks. Get over yourself.
True.
They call
this
him
guy
the
would have the perfect... I've beaten all the top Terrans with my build, but this guy would at least be very far ahead. Yeah. I really doubt I would lose against him, but he would be in a fantastic position.
This is a show match we perhaps could do some crowdfunding for. I'm sure we could set it up. The famous Jeopardizing build. Has 2 tanks ready, and I love that he's building a 3rd CC as well. So my prediction actually was correct too, by the way. We see a fusion core is done. We see a starport flying over to the tech lab. And I would be surprised if this is the final starport that we're going to see today.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a very common occurrence that Terrans just take random bases and put planetary on them as well when they go Sky Terran, not like Diamond League, Platinum League. It's something that I see very frequently. Now, I would think this is not as good against Zerg actually as it would be against the other races, because maxed out battlecruisers just lose to maxed out corruptors. But whenever I see Diamond League players and they play against BCs or carriers, they always make Hydras for some reason. I really don't know why. I think probably they're just all watching Loco, and that's the reason. But even Loco makes Hydras and then corruptors at least, so I don't know.
Yeah, it is a wild move. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either why that is. I guess it's because it's just earlier in the tech tree, and you just need it's not really earlier in the tech
It's
tree.
not, it's not.
But it's
they take
faster.
forever to get their upgrades, so they're not really faster as well.
Yeah, but they feel faster. Corruptors are pretty expensive, and they also only attack air. With Hydra, it feels like you're kind of, you're a hybrid unit. You can attack the air and the ground. It feels better most of the time. And we're kind of catch-all. Not much has happened so far in this game. The Overseer Scout now confirms that indeed it is going to be triple starport, most likely BC. And we have to wait for the response. It's going to be a Spire, so I kind of do like that. This Zerg has not been playing too poor theory-wise so far, I feel like. He has some creep spread. The early game, loads of queens. We see some spores going down as well. Double evos. Like, some of the ideas here are okay. And I also like the fact that he's taking more gases. Has scouted the proxy base right now. Don't really feel like this proxy base truly did pay off. But
probably
you
not.
can still lift it, I guess.
I mean, he did lose 14 SCVs because of it. I'm sure someone in the comments can do the math on if this was actually worth it or not. Because he did mine from it quite a bit. You can click all the mineral patches now, so they can do it. But
yeah, I did the same thing. I was thinking, they can go real slow. The one thing that you can't deny is that you took away minerals from your opponent. So in a split map scenario, these 800 minerals and the 600 gas or so that you took away from the opponent might be a big deal if this game goes into like the 55 minute mark or so. But if that's not the case, I think this was fairly useless. Much rather would have seen a faster fort base or just more of a standard build order. Fort base is being rebuilt here on the right side with that planetary double gas as well on the way. Kind of surprised that these battle cruisers haven't done all that much yet. And I'm also surprised that we have just a bunch of random Vikings kind of in there. I guess anticipating the corruptor switch.
I guess so. I mean, to be honest, the one thing that I'm most surprised by is that he didn't make any armories yet, because BC scale way better with their upgrades. So since this man is on 6 CCs going for his 7th already, it might be worth it to invest into some armories for upgrades for the BCs. But I mean, I get that he just wants to stay defensive. I think they're just hoping that their opponent is gonna suicide, basically. I think that's a valid strategy for Terrans.
Yeah, most of the time it really is. Here's a planetary, there's a bunch of links. That is not going to be a good transaction if those links would have continued on. I'm glad that they do end up pulling back. Now I have this command center trying to secure the 5th base. The macro is quite good, especially out of the Terran. I feel like managing to spend all of his cash pretty well. I think we even saw some target fire there with the tanks. I saw like some red lines. So I'm not quite sure if there was like a shift click on those links, but that looked very high level and pretty cool. We still haven't really had anything major happen except for that base being spotted. The Zerg player, I feel like, has a lot of cool ideas on how to play. Creep spread, but is kind of slow at making anything happen. Like, we have 82 workers now, but we're still not on 10 gases. The hive is fairly late for a game in which there has been no harass at all. But then, when you see what is being built, it does feel somewhat correct, and perhaps the injects are just the thing that is lacking. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think the general macro wasn't perfect all along, but I think he also was probably a little bit confused. And I think, in general, Zergs are just scared to die, always. So there was a little bit of that. The one thing, he's also not getting any upgrades for his corruptors. Instead, he's getting all the Zergling upgrades, which I don't think are going to be too helpful here. I think prioritizing corruptor upgrades would be fantastic. He did scout it, was Sky Terran, so I'm not sure why that is. But I really like that he's getting both the Infestor upgrades, because Infestor Corruptor is really what counters this Terran composition. You actually absolutely need anti-Infestor, otherwise you can simply just take control of one battlecruiser, and even though the Yamato will still go off, you can make more than 2 Infestors per battlecruiser, just the way the supply works, and then you have one of their battlecruisers, so it's a huge shift in favor of the Zerg. So you need either Liberators or tanks.
Yeah. The theory that I'm working on, why the link upgrades are being added in, now please do note this is still a working theory, is that the Zerg player scouted the tech labs on the starport and maybe anticipated a lot of auto turrets to be dropped. And in order to fight those off sufficiently, decided to get a lot of links and a lot of link upgrades. Because a lot of people have been, ever since the Raven buff, maybe he's very afraid of it. This is a possibility that we do need to keep in mind.
That's true. Yeah, they got their HP nerfed, so that goes in line with what you're saying. Trying to kill them instead of trying to retreat.
Yeah. He's just like going for the throat immediately when it matters. We also have an Ultra Cavern now, so once again, in line with my thinking. If he gets the kite and his plating, these auto turrets are never doing any damage in the next few years.
That is true.
3 more CCs as well on the way. Oh. That's one hell of a teleport towards the top side. Not quite sure if that was necessary, because that kind of exposes these battle cruisers right now. And the Zerg wants to jump on that opportunity, realizing that the teleport will not be available no more. Flies in with a crap ton of Corruptors, 3 Vipers as well. That could be pretty big.
I don't think this is enough Corruptors, to be honest. I think abducting here is also better than Parasitic Bomb. Let's see if he does it, because it does cancel the Yamatos. Okay, they were not in range whatsoever. And now he's betting with the... Oh no, the Vipers did absolutely nothing. I mean, the Corruptors are doing not too poorly, but they're just getting way outnumbered. And they also have no armor upgrades, which would be huge against the battlecruisers. Yeah,
and the Viking as well. There's so many Vikings. I didn't quite realize that. Both players are completely maxed out. At this point, I'm starting to doubt how useful the Vipers are if you're not going to plan on controlling them. I'm not entirely sure if that is the play for the future here. Bottom side base does get taken out by pure Lingbane. I like that run by. Upgrades definitely helping out there. Do we have Adrenal yet? No, not quite. That would help against these turrets. I wonder what the plan for the Zerg is, because it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of planning going on right now. He's flying around with Corruptors, but these numbers are not sufficient. Is Infestor something that is necessary now, or is just more Corruptors going to be straight up the answer?
I mean, for sure Infestors would be the best here, but theoretically just Corruptor Vipers should also beat the Sky Terran, since there's no Ghosts and no Thors. I think it is a valid unit composition to go for, especially because it's easier to control 1 spellcaster than 2, especially since we saw how we controlled the 1 spellcasters. Maybe adding Infestors as well might be a little bit too complicated in this case,
What if we remove the Vipers as well from the equation? Is it still possible then? Or is this pushing into dangerous territory?
I think already pushing into dangerous territory, because I mean, Infestor has different spells. The Microbial Shroud theoretically works well against air, so he might try to cast it on the Corruptors. Might not work, because it only works on ground units, so there might be some confusion there as well. In the end, you never know. With the Vipers, at least you just know you're gonna spam Parasitic Bombs.
Alright.
So it might be easier. To be honest, if I was to tell him if he would go Corruptor Infestor or Corruptor Viper, I would tell him Corruptor Infestor against this army.
Okay.
Would be better.
Another Ling run by here is running in. The tanks kill each other. The Lings do get a couple of kills on these SCVs for the lift off as well. More BCs are going to be teleporting back home. This triggers the Zerg player into actually moving over here with all of his Corruptors and Vipers. Teleport now coming in on the rest of the BCs. Vikings are lagging behind. Don't really think you can engage into it though, can you? The moment you engage, you really have to commit, because you're gonna lose 13 units to the Yamatos.
Yeah, which is really bad if you have 25 Corruptors, because that's more than half of your Corruptors gone. And at that point, we're working with 12 Corruptors against 13 Battlecruisers and 10 Vikings. Not sure those numbers are in your favor.
Yeah, and even if the Vikings show up a little bit late, I think they'll still, enjoy the party no matter what. Like, sure, some of the beers might be taken already, and all the good seats are gone, but they'll get a couple of shots in. They don't mind. That's what the Vikings are for. 25 more Banes are on the way. I do like this kind of constant rotating between the top side and the bottom side. Wanting to kill a base up top, then a base up bottom. I do believe he's going to be capable of getting that planetary, as there's really no tanks, there's no mines here. 39 Baling should be plenty for a planetary. A little bit overkill. Might want to go for the next one already as well.
Yeah. The Zerg could also theoretically just abduct units one by one, because there's no Ghosts and no Thors. Whenever the air units of the Terrans are out of position. Oh, this time it's just 4 Battlecruisers that he TP'd, so the Zerg realizes it and jumps on them, once again sacrificing 2 Vipers on the way there, and now he's jumping the rest of the Battlecruisers. For the first time, the Vipers are being controlled, and he's using the first spell of the game, which is not a bad quote for 7 Vipers that went down by now. And he's, yeah, I mean, he lost most of his Corruptors. I think that fight went a little bit worse actually than I expected for the Zerg, but just because he didn't control the Vipers.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he took something out at least. 35 new Corruptors are coming out. That's going to bring the total up to 46, if my math is correct. Queens decide to sacrifice themselves for the Swarm as well here a little bit. Maybe trying to bait out some Yamatos, but those have already been baited. There's 7 BCs being produced at a time, but these are not going to be in time for the next attack if the Zerg decides to press on here.
Yeah, I don't think so. This is also the first time where the Zerg doesn't have a big ground force anymore. All he has is 8 Lings and 4 Banelings. So with the 46 Corruptors, he has an overpowering force in the air, and all the turrets are not ready yet. So it doesn't even matter that there is no Zerglings to clean those up. He's just gonna crush the air fight. And the Terran spent all of his minerals on extra CCs and extra turrets. But now he has no army left.
Yeah, how many orbitals do we have? We have 9 orbitals and still 4 CCs around as well that could turn into orbitals. Do like the amount of turrets that's over here on the planetary base. I don't think the Corruptors are gonna try to go in there anymore. What do you do right now though? You just have to add more Lings as a Zerg player, continue busting with more and more Banelings. There's still really no anti-ground force, unless you count the BCs obviously, but I mean, they're not fantastic, and especially if they're not in position, they're relatively useless. Corruptors do find a command center on the bottom side, also find a battlecruiser, which they practically one-shot there. Or 1 volley. We only have 6 BCs and 11 Vikings. This is not looking too good for our Terran, who is maxed, but with a pretty weak army.
Oh, he's even using Nidus now with the Zerglings and Banelings, and that's going to be really hard to clear up, because all the battlecruisers need to fly in again. Oh my god, he's teleporting all of them in! There's no way that's the correct call, since all of the Corruptors are waiting. Really nice move by the Zerg. Use the Nidus as a bait for the battlecruisers, and it's just killing all of the battlecruisers once again.
Yeah, targeting them down one by one as well over here. And to note that the Terran eco is absolutely fantastic with 5k income per minute, and he's managing to spend all of it. And he has so many freaking mules. Like, I feel like getting rid of a couple of these SCVs would not be bad. I actually think that would be considered good and smart at this point, because if you have 12 orbital command centers, the one thing you don't really need is infinite mineral mining, right? Yeah, for sure. If he wants those battlecruisers to snowball and win a fight really hard, I think sacking some SCV is absolutely the right call here, since he's not going for Ghost or anything like that. And now once again the Zerg is going to try to kill the double planetary. That is stacked together, which means the Baneys can kill both of them at the same time, so thank you very much for that, Terran. Says the Zerg and kills the planetary, and now the SCVs, and more importantly the turrets are completely exposed, which is going to make this position hard to defend in the near future, and the Terran has had enough, and now he's going for the attack. Yeah, I mean, kind of curious what these Vikings are going to be doing. Are they going to be in the air? I hope he lifts them, right? Surely that's better. Oh, no, this is brilliant. This is so smart. There's no anti-ground at all here. There's like 20 Lings or so. He just pisses off with the BCs. Now these Corruptors are feeling pretty darn useless. I guess the Vikings do get cleaned up because they're garbage, but... Well, actually, look at that damage output, man.
They did better than expected. Though those are full energy queens and fully upgraded Zerglings, so... Yeah, not sure that was worth it. Not sure that was worth it.
These are also fully upgraded Vikings, though. 3-3 Vikings, they hit pretty hard. There's one more Viking attacking a hatchery on the bottom side. The 12 o'clock has not been taken yet for the Zerg. And that bottom side has been taken by the Terran. So mining-wise, I feel like the Terran is actually doing significantly better. And although, I mean, the trades also haven't been that bad. Terran's only down 5k. Oh, this is a scary one, though. Does not have teleport available on these battle cruisers. And has 6 BCs as well as 3 Vikings are in production. It feels like a very scary thing.
I mean, I think this was scary for the Zerg. If the Terran just rapid-fired Yamatos, it would have been like 12 Corruptors gone just like that.
Yeah, but then what's the chance that this guy is rapid-fire Yamato?
I don't know. Probably the same as him accidentally teleporting in.
Oh, here we go. He uses the spell on all of those queens. That means the Corruptors can come in and actually deal some damage here. 1-2 BCs will end up falling. More Yamatos going down. 11 BCs, 3 Vikings versus 22 Corruptors. Needs to run to the safety of those turrets, who to have the upgrades, the range upgrade as well as the armor. Now we're building 12 Vikings at a time. So a little bit of a tech switch.
They're better against corruptors than BCs, to be honest. Like BCs don't perform well against corruptors. You know what I find so interesting is that this game went way better the moment the Zerg lost the Vipers. Vipers are very hard on your supply. So if you make 5 Vipers, that could have been way more corruptors.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just performing way better. Like, he wasn't even using the Vipers, really. I think most of the time it's better to not have any spellcasters.
Yeah, one of the things I want to say is that Vipers are pretty supply inefficient if you don't use them as well. This is something people often forget. So I think it was a good call losing them as well. I enjoyed that. Yeah, the 7-to-1 spellcast ratio wasn't entirely brilliant money-wise either. I'm not sure if a parasitic bomb is worth like 1,500 minerals and 900 gas, but you know, we'll let that behind us as the Corruptor squad is having a blast over here. Oh, teleport to the other side? No? What?
That's the accidental teleport I was talking about.
A sign of strength. Did he try to his own Vikings?
No, it's a sign of strength. He's showing the Zerg he doesn't want to teleport back ever because he's gonna take this fight, he's gonna win the fight.
These are the Sun Tzu tactics. When you cut off your retreat pad so your warriors fight harder.
Exactly. These VCs know this is their final battle. They need to win this.
They need to win this. We're not coming out of here alive. The overlords are being sniped. This guy's infinite overlords. Oh, I've seen him lose like 7 right now. He's still not supply blocked. I'm loving this. Uh-oh. Viper is on the way. Wants to add another parasitic bomb. Honestly, against this Viking count, I do think that is the correct call. Even if you only hit 1 parasitic bomb accidentally, that would be better than not trying. Even if you don't hit one, just trying is better than not trying if there's this many Vikings. I think you have to accept that at some point, as every single building in the main base is being taken out. And it means there's literally no more production left, right? There's no Hydra then, there's no Spire. Where's the anti-air?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the anti-air right now is already on the field. It's 43 Corruptors and a Viper. He already did rebuild the Spires before the Hive went down, so that's really good for him. And I think right now he's just waiting for the 1 parasitic bomb to engage.
Yeah. I think this 1 parasitic bomb is going to absolutely decide the outcome of this game because, Spires are being spotted here. That's no more Corruptors for you. It's great that you have a massive bank, but you can't spend that if you don't have any tech structures. Lands the Vikings!
What?
No!
My man, you were winning. The other guy didn't even have supply to remake units.
Wait,
I mean, I guess he doesn't have supply now as well to clear up the Vikings.
Who's the idiot now, Lambo? This guy still has freaking, 14 Vikings on the ground. I'm not quite sure if I like the prioritizing here on the Spore and the Nidus network, but this looks fairly scary right now, as the Corruptors are looking for something. I guess it's the BCs, but even if they find these BCs, there's a lot of Yamatos that should still be on cooldown. There's a crap ton of turrets in the main base here. Parasitic Bomb does get cast. New Vikings are popping in, as the landed Vikings here are actually going to win the game. There's no spawning pool. There's nothing.
There's no spawning pool. It's almost done, but there's also no production here. And those are 3-3 Vikings we're talking about. I'm not sure that Jones can take care of this. They're not even trying to, and eventually the Terran is going to clean up his own main base. And the Zerg is having the worst fate of them all, dying with 20,000 resources in his bank. GG.
This is the first time I've seen landed Vikings be such a decisive unit, the deciding factor in a game. That was brilliant. He could have fought that and maybe won. And maybe he would have won. But I think this was way cooler. He ended up winning without any battle cruisers alive and with 29 Vikings, 2 tanks, and 4 Marines. This has to be one of the sickest games that I've watched in my entire life. Now, the funny thing here is that I don't think either of these players were necessarily very bad. I felt like a lot of things were actually quite good. The macro, the theory from the Zerg side seemed okay. The creep spread, so many spores were being added in. I didn't quite agree with a lot of the decisions that the Terran made, but yeah, I don't know. I felt like the Zerg was pretty okay, no?
I thought so too. It was also the Zerg sending in the replay, right?
Yeah. This is our first loss ever.
Exactly. Up until like 5 seconds before he GG'd out, I thought he was still gonna win it, to be honest.
Just waiting for the epic turnaround.
Yeah.
Surely at this point here, this is where there's a surprise.
I was checking if we had a spire hidden somewhere, but there was no spire.
It's like if you think you're watching a romantic comedy, but it's like some sad movie. You're like, all right, when does the good part start? Every main character dying. It's so sad. Yeah, you're actually right. All right, you can guess first today. I
can guess first. Okay, I'm gonna go 3.5k here.
No. This is significantly higher. I think the build order was very solid. It is not quite 4.5k, but I'm gonna go for 4k. 4k. I think that's it.
Okay.
Okay, let me open the thing. Ba.
Oh, that's a bad sound for me.
Yeah, that's a very bad sound for you, dude. Oh my god. The submitter is 4,850 MMR.
What? The Zerg?
Yeah.
God damn, this is what happens if you don't tell me the server. I swear to God, it's an NA player.
Okay. What? Oh,
4.8. This time I was like, I always went too high, and this time I went 300 lower than I thought. I was like, okay, this is like 3.8k. This guy's messing battlecruiser, doesn't know any other unit. But no, that's
I wanted
crazy.
to go higher, but I didn't dare to. I was like, so in my mind, I really thought 4,600, 4,700, but then I kept the rule, in the back of my head. I shouldn't. I should have trusted my gut here, my instincts. I sniffed it out. This was an absolutely idiotic game, though. Holy crap.
It was. I mean, the Terran had a nice build order. He was safe against everything, and he went into battlecruiser. But the Zerg, he was floating a lot in like 6 minutes, 7 minutes.
Yeah. Anything's possible with Zerg Lambo. I guess that's the one thing that we did figure out today. That is going to be it for today. Noobs in Disguise, I think episode 7, if I'm not mistaken, or episode 6.
Absolutely, yeah.
Counting remains difficult. Any last words for the viewers?
Just landed Vikings are OP.
Landed Vikings are OP. That's how we'll end. All right. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, send a replay as well. harambo@gmail.com, I think is the... Yeah, harambo.se2@gmail.com. There we go. We'll be in the description as well. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.